Once upon a time, in a village surrounded by a vast forest, there lived two very close siblings, John, curious and clever, and Mary, sweet and observant. They lived with their father, a hard-working woodcutter, and their stepmother, who was always worried about the lack of food. That winter, work brought little money, and the pantry was almost empty. One night, John overheard his stepmother suggest something cruel, taking the children deep into the forest and leaving them there so there would be more food at home. The father hesitated, but desperation spoke louder. John felt afraid, but he did not let panic win. He told Mary everything, and while everyone slept, he quietly slipped outside and filled his pockets with small white stones that shone in the moonlight like drops of light. The next day, their father led John and Mary into the forest, saying he would cut some trees and that they should wait. John discreetly dropped a stone here and another there, creating a secret path. When evening came and their father did not return, Mary began to cry. John pointed behind them. The stones reflected the moonlight like tiny stars on the ground. Guided by them, the siblings walked for hours and, exhausted, found their way back home. The stepmother was surprised and even more worried. Days later, she tried again. This time, she locked the door at night to stop John from collecting stones. In the morning, she gave the children only a piece of bread. Along the way, John crumbled the bread and scattered the crumbs. "This way we can come back," he said, trying to keep hope alive. But when night fell, the crumbs were gone. Birds had eaten them all. The forest grew dark, and the cold seemed to seep into their bones. John and Mary called for their father, called for the village, but only the wind answered. With no other choice, they curled up beneath a large tree, sharing what little warmth they had, listening to owls in the distance, and promising each other they would not let go of each other's hands. John took a deep breath. "We will survive, together." The next morning, hungry, they followed the sound of a stream and the sunlight filtering through the trees. They walked for a long time until a sweet smell filled the air. In the middle of the forest stood a little house made of bread, covered in sugar with shining windows. Hunger took over, and they broke off a small piece of the wall. Then a thin voice came from inside. "Who is nibbling on my little house?" The door opened, and an old woman with white hair and a wide smile appeared. "Come in, my dears. I have soup and a warm bed." Inside, the table was set. They ate and, for the first time in days, felt relief. But when night came, the house revealed its secret. The woman was a witch who lured children with sweets. John was locked in a cage, and Mary became a servant, forced to cook and carry firewood. The witch wanted to fatten John and asked him every day to show his finger. Cleverly, John held out a thin bone to make himself seem always too skinny. Though exhausted, Mary did not lose her courage. She whispered with John and searched for a way to escape. One day, impatient with waiting, the witch lit the oven. "Mary, check if the oven is hot." Mary pretended not to understand and asked, "I don't know how. Could you show me?" Annoyed, the witch leaned forward to look inside. At that moment, Mary pushed with all her strength. The witch fell in, and Mary slammed the iron door shut. The fire roared, and the danger ended there. Trembling, Mary ran to free John. The two hugged each other, relieved. Before leaving, they found a chest filled with coins and precious stones. "This can help our father," John said. They took what they could carry and fled without looking back. The forest was still vast, but now they had attention and courage. They followed the river, watched the sun, and rested when needed. At the end of a long day, they saw the chimney of their home. Their father opened the door and cried when he saw his children. He hugged them tightly and begged for forgiveness. He said that since losing them, he had lived with regret and searched for them whenever he could. The stepmother was no longer there. She had gone away. With the treasure, the father bought food, clothes, and firewood for the winter, and life became safer. That night, the three sat at the table with a truly full plate. John and Mary never forgot the lesson of the forest. Not everything that looks sweet is good, and no path is impossible when walked with calm, intelligence, and love.